Oh, hello.
Welcome to Business Writing Skills, the fat-free edition. If you're ready to start, just click that button right over there.
Planet Earth is in the information age. We are a knowledge economy, and since money moves at the speed of light, our information has to move even faster. Business writing has changed radically in the last few years. Surveys show the most sought-after skill in today's business arena is the ability to communicate clearly, correctly, and concisely, both in speech and in writing. No one has time to read long, wordy emails. We all want our information faster. Many of us are eliminating fat from our diets, but have yet to apply these fat-free principles to our communication. This session will show you how to keep your business writing clear and concise. In this age of instant communication, doing more with less is what shirt-sleeve English is all about. However, the real concern is what's referred to as dinosaur English. That's right, big guy. And much like our fossilized friends here, dinosaur English is way past its expiration date. For 3 reasons. First, it requires rereading what we may not have understood the first, second, or even third time through. Secondly, it makes it easier for you to put off answering an email because it's way too long. Thirdly, it means using terminology the reader doesn't understand, so we stop. So, moving on, let's look at shirt-sleeve English. When using this form of writing, you're always writing for the reader. This means that it's straightforward and to the point, which means your writing becomes more conversational and therefore more effective. You didn't see me. I was not here. Let's look at some strategies to help keep our business writing clear and concise. You can do this by using short, familiar words. Write to express your ideas in a simple, cleaner manner, not to impress your reader with an extensive vocabulary or a fancy writing style. Take a look at these examples. Today's time-pressed readers skim for meaning, and longer or less familiar words only take more time to process. And remember, we want to be concise. So from this, you can see, never utilize when you can use. That's a weed. That's a weed. Ugh! All these weeds! Word weeds have plagued our everyday speech for far too long. Weeds like free gift, Have you ever received a gift that wasn't free? And tuna fish. I don't know about you, but I have never seen a tuna that wasn't a fish. Oh, and here's a fun one. Take all your personal belongings. I don't know about you, but I don't travel with my impersonal belongings. If they're personal, then I can assume they already belong to me. These unnecessary words clutter up our speech. Ah, here's another one. Bald-headed. Where is the meeting at? Intriguing preposition, but maybe another time. These words have no place in today's business writing. Time is a precious thing and very costly. So when we use 10 words to explain what could be said in 5, it's called a time waster. We include time wasters because they've become a habit. And what makes something a habit? Any thoughts? Interestingly, only 21 repetitions of the same behavior creates a habit. We can solve this problem very easily by using small shortcuts that not only save time, but add clarity. Some examples we use in our daily correspondence would be on a daily basis. Why not just daily? Or in the process of installing. Wouldn't it just be installing? Surprisingly though, email is not the only source of habits. Every time we text, we find we have a habit there too. LOL, TTYL, BRB, THX, IMO, IDK, FYI, ASAP. It's like reading an eye chart. When we get into a habit of doing something in our texting, it tends to carry over into our email. So, if we want these strategies to become a new habit, we need to apply them to our business writing. Daily. See what I did there? Bottom line, we can break old habits. I wasn't here either. Pursuant to our conversation, enclosed please find the agenda for the upcoming class which you requested. This is way too stuffy. Stuffy formality is completely outdated. We can solve this by putting more personality in our message. Be more conversational. Talk directly to your audience, not at them. A good test for stuffiness and to see if your writing is conversational is to read what you've written out loud. If it doesn't sound right to you, it probably is not going to sound right to the reader. Pursuant to our conversation enclosed, nah, forget that. Johnny, I've attached the class agenda you asked for. And send. I'm very skeptical about those findings. That project was a disaster. The environment was very inadequate. Their qualifications were somewhat questionable. Some negative words, much like what you just heard, no doubt conveyed an immediate strong resistance in the reader. You've heard the adage that you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, and in this case, it's true. We must remember to be positive in tone. Everyone responds more favorably to a positive tone. Not just in the sound of your voice, but also in your choice of words. When negativity is present, it produces instant reader resistance. But how to avoid this? Well, for starters, avoid negative buzzwords. Consider this. You get an email which includes the following statement. There was an incident in the Monette cafeteria. we immediately think negative thoughts because incident is a negative buzzword. But what if the incident was a romantic down-on-one-knee marriage proposal? Positive words, however, can convey the same message and will get more cooperative reaction from the reader. Look at these examples. Using the word state instead of claim infers a more truthful writer, since claim carries a connotation of disbelief for most. So let's practice putting a more positive spin on things, shall we? Does the term asymmetrical key cryptography mean anything to you? No? What about index amortizing swap? Still no? How about international multinational enterprise? Not that either? Neither do I. These are examples of vague or abstract terms that do not convey immediate meaning to the reader, me and you. To avoid confusion, it's always best to give the most specific term, number, or percentage. If referring to a number of people, don't say a majority of people or most people. Be specific. For example, if I were to ask how big is an acre? This is hard since we can't picture anything specific. Would it help if I said it was 4,840 square yards or equal to 43,560 square feet? Still not able to picture exactly what an acre is? Well, how about a football field minus the end zones? Now, isn't that better? Now we can visualize an acre. Whether we like football or not, we can picture an acre. Now, does anyone know how long the Titanic was? We can picture the ship, but have no visual on how long it was. Now, for you Titaniacs out there, you already know it was 883 feet long. Now we're getting a little closer, but how do we visualize 883 feet? For those of you who think of Titanic as just another big boat, it's easier to think of it as the length of 3.5 city blocks. We now have a specific image of the length. Icebug, straight ahead.
Shh, we're trying to study.
We believe we've finally gotten our ducks in a row, which is surprising considering the lack of FaceTime, which caused us to scramble a little bit. But once we got down and dirty and played hardball with the freeware application we were using, everything seemed to fall into place. What are they even talking about? Unfamiliar jargon can confuse the reader and obviously distract from the written message. But what is jargon? The definition of jargon is simply that, jargon. It's the language that is characterized by uncommon or pretentious vocabulary and convoluted syntax and is often vague in meaning. So once again, what's jargon? Any speech or writing that one does not understand. The worst offender of jargon is the federal government. What do you think the U.S. Census Bureau calls a homeless person? Any takers? A targeted, non-sheltered, outdoor location people. Try saying that 5 times fast. Of course, aside from being the victim of jargon, sometimes you can also be... Hello.
Hey man, how's everything going? I just called to get a quick update and status report on how the project's coming along.
Well, Once we've received the necessary content, we'll then proceed with the video encoding and conversion process. After that, we'll put it into Captivate and apply all the necessary URL links to the provided hyperlink selections. Once that is finished, we can publish it, test it for LMS compatibility and SCORM compliance to ensure optimal functionality. Does that sound good?
Whoa, okay. Someone's got their word of the day calendar out. Seriously, can we try that one more time? Just layman's terms.
When you write, whether an email, a memo, etc., it's best to write in the active voice. If I said, the meeting was started by Brad, who started the meeting? That's in the passive voice because we're hiding the doer of the action. In the active voice, we always start with the doer of the action. In this case, it's Brad. So simply say, Brad started the meeting. In your daily business writing, the active voice should be used in at least 80% of your overall content. And as for the other 20%, well, that's entirely up to you. In today's business world, readers scan for meaning. Keep it short and simple, shorter words and shorter sentences. Email has ushered in a new informality in written language. Lengthy, complicated sentences with lots of punctuation take longer to process. Although we're not expected to keep a running count of the words we use, a reliable method you can use would be to keep it short and simple, commonly known as the KISS method. It is the policy of this company that all account service personnel are required to review and adhere to the pricing structure which is in place for projects that include a technology participation, and as always, verification should be made as to the current standing contract to ensure that the distributor does not have specific rates in place, which, if said contract stipulates DS support at a specific rate, that rate is required to be honored for the term of the contract. Most of us get the first 21 words, but after that, we start losing the meaning. So what does it really say in, let's say 17 words? For technology participation projects, account reps should review contracts and if special rates apply, honor those rates. So, now that we see it's possible, let's put it into practice, shall we? As simple as comma usage is, it is one aspect of writing that is regularly overlooked. So when do you use a comma? Well, first, place commas after an introductory phrase. Take a look at these examples. After working all day at the office, I went home. However, if the introductory phrase is shorter, no comma is needed, so it reads, after work I went home. Next, if the sentence is too confusing without it, such as, the day before I borrowed her calendar. What? Without the comma, it creates too much confusion. It should be, the day before I borrowed her calendar. Also, use a comma if you have to separate items in a series or list, such as, I need to pack my laptop, business cards, speaker's note, and handouts. Another instance is when separating two sentences with the conjunction or, nor, or but. Look at this sentence. They may go to the Super Bowl, or they may watch it on TV. By this simple rule, it's obvious where the comma should go. So, you've used familiar words, got rid of the weeds, eliminated time wasters, kept it conversational, made it positive, specific and concrete, active, and short. What else is there? Any takers? Proofreading. There are several methods you can use. Try a hard copy. Actually, reading a printed copy can help you focus. Reading aloud will help to focus on how the overall sentences or paragraphs will sound to the reader. Sometimes it's just best to set it aside and view it later with a fresh pair of eyes. Even better, if that doesn't work, use someone else's eyes. Don't edit when you proof. This is not the time to correct mistakes at the risk of making new ones. And finally, proof at prime time when your mind is at its best for reading and comprehension. Just remember, punctuation is a very powerful aspect of business writing. Even something as simple as a misplaced comma can dramatically change the dynamic of a sentence. Well, I guess that's about it. Thanks for stopping by and good luck in your business writing. Oh, click the button so you can exit and I can mark your training complete. Thanks.